Talking of kind of the same issue, Charlotte Church, you like a sing-song, don't you? So everybody, get clicking, tap your toes. Let's have a listen to Charlotte Church singing From the River to the Sea. It's a real good tune. Here we go. Take it away, Charlotte.
Clarify my intentions there. I am in no way anti-Semitic, fighting for the liberation of all people. I have a deep heart for all religion.
Let's remember it. Let's have a look at it.
Well, no, this one, the first clip you saw was actually the follow-up single from her new album, which is arguably more tuneful than that first one.
Well, let's have a listen to that again.
Just to clarify my intentions there, I am in no way anti-Semitic, fighting for the liberation of all people. I have a deep heart for all religion and all difference, and it was a beautiful, beautiful event. But unfortunately, the powers that be can't have that. Can't have such a powerful symbol of resistance as what we worked towards on Saturday. And we sang lots of other beautiful songs, lots of other songs of liberation and freedom, Arabic songs, Welsh songs, South African songs from the anti-apartheid movement, which were the lyrics which were adapted to the situation in Palestine.
Yeah, what she sang was a genocidal hate song about obliterating the Israeli state, so Israel doesn't exist, and annihilating Jewish people. That's what she sang. That is not a song of unity, Charlotte, and you are an anti-Semite. Got it? Let's move on.
Oh, this is sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a British rower has died trying to cross the Atlantic. He was found dead in his boat at sea. What he did is he set off from Gran Canaria. The boat is a tiny little contraption with sort of basically paddle power only. He set off from Gran Canaria, and 4 weeks after setting off, well, he is being found.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very fit 54-year-old. Great cause. He was off to raise money for charity. Michael Holt, 54. He did loads of training, he's Welsh, and said he was ready to do this, well prepared. He was very well prepared. Anyway, he got 700 miles into this epic journey across the Atlantic, which would have taken him from Gran Canaria to Barbados. So it's a nearly 3,000-mile journey. So he'd done about a third of it, something like that. And they went off radar. Suddenly we couldn't hear him anymore, and they went looking for him, and he was found dead on his boat. Now, he was very, very fit, although he was a type 1 diabetic. But he had complained by radio before that he was suffering severely from seasickness. And some people die of seasickness.
He trained for 2 years. He had medical supplies on board to avoid infections, a spare oar, and he was doing this for the charity Mind because a really good friend of his had committed suicide. Listen, it's just tragic.
Yeah, our thoughts are with his family, of course.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on. This train driver, you remember this story, got sacked for a tarantula prank. He put a sort of skin of a tarantula and also the skin of a snake, real skins, but not the real animals, into the locker of a female colleague. She was mortified. He got sacked for this after 20 years. He took the rail service into a tribunal for wrongful dismissal. He was employed by West Midlands Trains, and he's won. So he has been restored to his job, and he's got £22,500 compensation. So
I mean, it was a practical joke. Can we all just get a grip in this day and age? Do you know, I remember this story because it was the first week of us doing the show together, because we had a debate.
Oh, really?
We had a debate upstairs on floor 10 about whether people knew the word slough.
Oh, that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
like a tarantula snakes and they lose their skin. It's called sloughing, spelt like slough near Heathrow Airport. Sloughing. We had a debate about that.
We did. There. And now I know that was a word. Now, you highlighted this story. Another day, another, what shall we say, bout of manure spraying in Europe. This time, we saw the French farmers descending on Paris, very upset about tariffs, and etc. Now the Belgian farmers have descended on Brussels and the EU per se, with their own message of discontent, spraying manure all over the shop.
Well, they've gone absolutely mad. They're lobbing around glass bottles, spraying effluent, they're burning tyres, they're blocking up the whole city. This has been happening around Europe. And of course, the press in the UK don't say anything about it because, oh no, it's a problem that the EU have. The EU is totally failing and there's huge protests everywhere. We better not mention that. That might make people think Brexit was a good idea. And at the same time, here's another exciting element of how much the EU is failing. The German Bundesbank is about to go bust, as are most of the big central banks around Europe. We're basically on the edge of another massive Eurozone crisis. Europe's going to go bust. It's going to be covered in poo. And we're going to sit there and say, yay, we're not in it anymore.
Yeah, I blame Brexit. Actually, thank God for Brexit, because we're not involved in this mess. That is Europe self-destructing. Brexit Europe. It's still, the EU is still supposed to be this magnificent
Look at it. It's a mess.
Body that keeps Europe in good shape. Europe is falling apart at the seams. Thanks to the EU, the club that we left. Now, Pattie Boyd was the beautiful blonde of the 1960s who was involved in a love triangle between the Beatle George Harrison, who she was with, and Eric Clapton.
What a triangle.
They were great friends. Eric Clapton started writing letters to her saying, you know, I've formed this thing about you. Do you feel the same? Turned out she did. Anyway, George Harrison, of course, sadly has died. But old Eric is still around, and yet Pattie is selling all their letters. Now, she's got every right to do that, but it does seem a little bit distasteful.
What I would say is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, because apparently her marriage to Eric Clapton then fell apart because of his alcoholism and infidelity, and they divorced in 1989, so clearly she hadn't forgotten that.
But she's taken a long time to get it. I think this is purely for cash. I feel a bit sorry for Eric.
George Harrison was my favourite Beatle. I like George a lot.
Yeah, I'll have a think about which she was. I think mine was probably Lennon.
He's very woke, though, isn't he?
Well,
they all were.
Yeah, he was a bit of an idiot, but there you go. Willy Wonka. Now, you go to Glasgow, you had the Willy Wonka experience, £35 a ticket. All these kids were promised with their parents. You go in there, chocolate fountains, the magic of a marvellous experience.
They could go to Brussels for chocolate fountain.
There it is. Let's have a look at the real thing.
Let's see.
Let's have a look at the real thing, can we? Yes, not quite as magical as they expected. Parents were furious.
What is it?
The Willy Wonka experience. The kids apparently they got a handful of jelly babies. That's all they got. Look at that.
And they got a can of bar limeade as well.
35 quid. Parents were so furious, the police had to be called. And the company behind it said, oh, we were let down by a lot of our suppliers.
You
should not have opened your doors.
You shouldn't have done it.
The world's worst event. It reminds me of those terrible Christmas fairs, you know, where they have one sheep with some antlers and, you know, a big field, and that's called Winter Wonderland.
We've gone full circle, because